The following programming is sponsored by Pete Trabucco. The views expressed do not necessarily reflect the views of this station, its management, or Beasley Media Group.
And welcome to another edition of Live on Tape with Pete Trabucco here at WWDB AM 860 Talk Radio, the city of brotherly love, Philadelphia, a Beasley Media Group radio station. And I am here with the incredibly talented young man over there. And I believe Tyler is here today. We've got you, right? Tyler Conklin. How you doing, Tyler?
Twice in a week. What have you done to me?
I know. And we've had some pretty good guests, too, I tell you. We did have one no-show, but we'll talk about that another time. But yes, we're so glad to have you here today. You've got some really good stuff. So it's a Saturday. It's the afternoon, okay? I don't know what you did last night, but I can tell you I was up late last night. Just basically, I just couldn't sleep. There comes that time where you just can't go to sleep. Your mind is still running, and you just can't go to sleep. I mean, it's like, does that ever happen to you?
I mean, I'm still in my early 20s, so I'm getting to go out to, go to parties and whatnot still to like 1 or 2 a.m. in the morning. So, I get it a little bit.
Oh, my goodness. Parties at 1 or 2 a.m. You know what I'm doing at 1 or 2 a.m.? I'm sitting in bed trying to sleep, but I can't sleep. So that's what I'm doing. Basically, warm milk doesn't work anymore. It used to. But so you're at the 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning. How does that work out? I mean, do you end up getting up the next day, no problems? Or you just like, no?
Honestly, there are days where I just stay up for 48 hours.
Oh, my goodness. I don't think I've done that in a while. I think I did that my prom. That was about it. I really don't do too much, but yes, it's funny how as you get older, basically you unfortunately have the mind just goes crazy a little bit. You got all these different things you think about. When you're a kid, you don't think about those things as much, but
you get stir crazy.
Yeah, you do. You get stir crazy, and there's things I'd love to do that I can't do anymore. Like I used to play football, played baseball. I still play tennis every once in a while, but I slow down. A step or two or something along those lines. How about you? Do you play sports?
Oh, not often enough. I've been trying to get back into some weightlifting or whatever just so that I can, keep up with my aging body, but...
Aging body, well, my goodness. Folks, he's about maybe, 30, 40 years younger than me, and I don't think he's got an aging body there. I think you're doing pretty good, my friend. When you get to look like me, then you're going down the roller coaster. You're going downhill, but that's okay. Every day I get to play on this planet and do something that's fantastic. And guess what? Remember, we had a good guest last week. Well, we got another.
Of course, just Leo.
We got
Leon.
another. Yeah, that's right. Just Leon, okay? Now, this week, we have got a spectacular guest. And I mean spectacular. Fantastic. This might sound familiar to you.
What is this? Is this Put a Little Love in Your Heart?
That is correct. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to have in our studios today the one and the only singer and songwriter, Grammy Award winner, radio broadcaster, Jackie Deshannon. Jackie Deshannon, how you doing today? How you doing?
I'm doing great. Thank you for that wonderful, kind intro.
Oh, my goodness gracious. We have got Jackie, and I tell you one thing, Jackie, I've loved you for years, okay?
Oh.
All the stuff that you have done, I grew up on your music, okay? Because now I'm giving my age away a little bit, but I did. I grew up on your music. And for those of you that have not able to enjoy, this musician, singing, songwriter, and she's done so much. In 1965, there was a song, What the World Needs Now, which was a pretty big hit. Went to number 6 on the Billboard charts, did extremely well, and catapulted this singer into the industry fantastically. And in 1969, the song you just heard, Put a Little Love in Your Heart. That was number 4. And, of course, Burt Bacharach, I believe, wrote that song. Is that correct? Jackie?
Burt Bacharach and Hal David, What the World Needs Now. And it was a very interesting record because it was a waltz.
Oh, was
and
it?
And in the beginning, people, kind of felt that it wouldn't make it because it was a waltz and nobody could dance to it.
Well, I tell you, well, they can dance to your version, that is for sure. Yeah, What the World Needs Now. I remember growing up, I was about maybe 7 or 8 when I first heard that, okay? And I loved it. I was singing it around the house.
It's a very unusual record, and of course, the message is phenomenal, and we certainly need that these days.
Yes, absolutely, we do. And of course, you wrote a lot of different songs as well for a lot of major artists. And then, of course, the song that we just played, "Put a Little Love in Your Heart," that was a really massive hit. That was on the charts for a very long time. How did you get involved in singing? When did that first start for you?
I was singing when I was 2 and 3 years old. I was right on it from the get-go. I used to go with friends of my parents to sing on the radio, and I had to stand on a little box because in Kentucky, that's where I was born, and that's where the radio station was. And I had to stand on a little box because I couldn't reach the microphone, and we sang gospel music.
Oh, my goodness. That's something. That's something. So you knew even back then you were going to be a singer. I
did. My parents said they were not the typical stage mom and dad. I had their full support, but, they said if they didn't go with me, I was going anyway.
Okay. That sounds pretty good. So in 65, What the World Needs Now, of course, that was, again, you said Burt Bacharach. Did you meet Burt? I mean, how did that come about, the song? How did you get a hold of it and be able to record that?
Very interesting story. Burt Bacharach and Hal David were visiting the Liberty Records offices, and I think somehow or another they came up with, let's produce Jackie DeShannon, and we were rehearsing at the piano, and they were playing various songs for me to hear so that, we might find enough material for me to record. And Hal David kept saying, play What the World Needs Now for Jackie. And Bert's going, oh, no. We're not going to play that. So it goes on and on for 20 minutes, and Hal's interjecting with play the song. And I couldn't understand why he didn't, want to play it. After he finally agreed to play it, and I learned it and sang it, and he just slammed the piano thing down and said, okay, that's it. We're going to Bell Sound, we're going to New York, and we're going to make a hit record. Apparently, which I didn't know, a lot of people turned the song down. One thought it was country, one thought it was this or that. They just didn't like the song at all. And I was the fortunate one that loved the song because I can certainly relate to cornfields and wheat fields.
Yes.
So I just loved it. Also, I felt it had a really, you listen, had kind of a gospel feel, at least for me. And I just loved the song the minute I heard it. And both Burt and Hal thought that, it would be a hit record.
Well, you can tell that you put a lot of heart into that song, I know, because it sounds like it was written for you. And that's how I gathered it. I don't think anyone could have done it as well as you did on that song. And like I said, it reached the top 10, went to number 7, was on the charts for many, many weeks. And back then, even now, when something goes on the charts, it doesn't stay very long. So fantastic job. And so tell me what Burt and Hal were like, okay? Because a lot of people probably don't even know them because we got younger audiences here. But what were they like to work for?
Well, I just loved working with both of them. Burt was a total perfectionist. At the time that I was working with him, every note that he wrote had to be hit exactly as he wrote it. There was no interpretation of the melody or, just saying what the world, kind of go off. It had to be exactly what he wrote. I learned a lot from working with Burt. He just had such a special gift, a way of getting the best performance out of the artist. and of course Hal always had these magnificent lyrics to sing. And I just had a great time working with them. And I always felt I was in safe hands.
Wow. Well, that's something else. And now, how long were you affiliated with them? Because I know you did some stuff with them.
We did a few sessions. Unfortunately, nothing really hit the charts. But the experience for me was phenomenal. And a lot of things go on or went on back in my day. For instance, the merchandising and the stuff that we are totally used to now was not that plentiful for me at Liberty Records, and I think that they were much more of a singles-oriented group of people as opposed to building the artist the way that, John Hammond did at Columbia Records.
Oh,
it was much more, boom, in, out, and they didn't, really concentrate on making, making the artist well known.
Okay. Yeah. Well, that kind of. Well, we've heard about the one hit wonders and all that type of stuff.
Also, I was a girl, so that made a big. They concentrated more on the gentlemen of the era.
Well, unfortunately, they made a mistake there. Okay.
Thank you.
But I guarantee, after you, first of all, working, I would have loved to have even met Burt Bacharach. Okay, I would have loved to have met these icons when it comes to music and all the songs and music they put together. Hal David.
Well, it was
so
very exciting because What the World Needs Now, my record is now in the Library of Congress, which is a great honor. So I'm very, very thrilled about that.
And it belongs there too. It's got a great message to it as well. So you really got to thank Hal David for writing it, so that basically it's got a real message to it. You must have known after that record hit that you were a star. After that, I mean, you knew that was going to be not the first song, because you did several, obviously, and then did the songwriting thing, which you won an Emmy for that, a Grammy for that. So, what was it like after you knew and you heard it on the radio and you're like, wow, this is going to be big? What did that feel like?
It's the most exciting thing you could ever imagine. I believe that most artists love hearing their songs for the first time on the radio. That's always the biggest thrill. The radio's always been my very favorite way of reaching people. And to think that, that record would be all over the world was very, very exciting, because I think it had a unique sound. Once you heard it, you didn't really forget it. And I could thank all of the disc jockeys back in the day who went out on a limb to play that record, because some of the program directors were not, they just didn't think it was that commercial. And, quite a few of the disc jockeys fought to play that on the radio.
Well, yeah, because of the sound. And I will tell you, in Philadelphia and in New York City, we played that. It played a lot in these cities, even though they're northern cities and eastern cities. They loved it as well. And then let's go to 1969. Okay, that was the year we landed on the moon, Apollo 11.
It was.
Okay.
Sure.
and we had unfortunately 1968, as you know, was not a very good year at all. And the song that actually came out, "Put a Little Love in Your Heart," came out in '69. It was a great time for a song along those lines. Tell us about that song, how that came about. And that was a big hit, number 4 on the charts.
Well, I'm happy about that for sure. My brother and I were writing some songs, and at the time for an album, and he came up with this little dun 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 dun, and all of a sudden, the chorus just flew out. Think of your fellow man, lend him a helping hand, put a little love in your heart. I think, we had a connection with just a spiritual connection, going to church, and that's how we were raised. So it meant a great deal to us. And we were working with a gentleman, Jimmy Holiday, who's a great talent, who is a great talent.
Yeah.
And we took it out there and we, went over some things. And so we came up with that. But I think it has a little bit of all of us in there. We do want to think of our fellow man and lend him a helping hand. We need to do that, and we need to do it these days more than ever, I think.
I agree with you on that. In fact, that was one of my favorites. I was singing that around, and in the old days, they would say it's got a good beat, you can dance to it, and it's a bullet. You got a bullet on that one. So,
wow, I love that.
Oh, you never heard that expression? That was the big thing with the DJs.
No, I
way back.
know. Of course I did. Of course I did. Having a record go up the charts with a bullet, that was the whole world. That's for sure.
That is true. That is true. We are talking with singer, songwriter, and amazing musical artist, Jackie Deshannon, and we'll be back with Live on Tape right after this. Each year, 5,000 people, including children, choke to death. LifeVac can stop these senseless tragedies. And it's so easy to use as well. Simply place the mask over the face and push and pull. You'll never regret having a LifeVac in your home or office. Please visit their website at www.lifevac.net today to protect you and your loved ones. Or you can call them at 877-LIFEVAC. That's 877-LifeVac.
You're not too cool for me. And in return, I reciprocate that sentiment. I'll never be too cool for you. I was a man with a plan, but now I'm a dad with a decree, and you can't take that from me. Please let it be noted that I told my job they can dock my pay. Right now, it's just too important to take you to school every day. I want to be legendary for you. I want you to puff out your chest when you go to school, the same way I do. I walk taller because of you, because I found everything to live for.
That's dedication. Visit fatherhood.gov to hear more. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
And we're back to Live on Tape with Pete Trabucco and WWDB AM 860 Talk Radio, a Beasley Media Group station. Hello, Philadelphia. And I got to mention this, folks. World Star Public Relations, where excellence meets exposure. Now, are you ready to elevate your brand in new heights? Well, their team of dynamic PR experts is here to make your story shine on a global stage. Whether you're a startup, an established artist, business, or a rising star, we specialize in crafting narratives that captivate and the campaigns that resonate worldwide. A World Star PR, your passport to the world of unparalleled visibility, success. Join the ranks of those who have already done it. Okay, choose World Star Public Relations and let your story take center stage. You can call them at 631-506-6600. That is 631-506-6600. And we have got one amazing artist here today. Singer-songwriter, Grammy Award winner, radio broadcaster. And by the way, folks, she opened for the Beatles many times. We have got Jackie Deshannon here today. Jackie, how are you?
I am great. Talking with you makes me absolutely unbelievably happy.
Well, you've touched millions of lives. You know that, right? With your songs, especially the two songs that you have. I mean, nowadays we got these songs, they're not so appropriate, not your songs here, especially the two that made it to the top of the charts, What the World Needs Now and Put a Little Love in Your Heart. Great messages, that unfortunately we don't get that much today anymore. So it was great. So now, 1969, you did a second song. You followed it up after, What the World Needs Now. By the way, folks, Jackie had 20 albums, not one, not two. She's not a one-hit wonder here. Okay. She had 20 albums out there. And now you got the second one, which is put a little love in your heart. Okay. By the way, how you said that your brother wrote this, right? Is that what you said?
Yes, my brother. We all collaborated together. Yes.
Yes. And how long did it take?
He passed on a few years ago. Miss him terribly, but
so sorry.
Randy James Myers, we love you.
Wherever you are in the airwaves, we're sending out a signal of love to you, okay?
Oh, thank you.
But how long did it take? How long does it take to do it? Because you do a lot of writing. How long does it take to write something?
Well, it just depends. Sometimes, and you'll hear this from various songwriters, sometimes it takes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes. you just grab it's just in the airwaves somewhere. I don't know where. And you get this idea, and it just comes really quickly. Other songs, it takes, can take a long time. It just varies, and nobody knows why. You can ask them, a lot of songwriters, they'll tell you the same thing.
Well, it's amazing that you can actually do that. You also had other hits, like, when you walk into the room, Needles and Pins was another one. There was others that made the charts as well. You had several that were actually there. Now, you were with Liberty for a while, but then you switched, right, over to, was it Atlantic? Was that right?
No, I think it was Capitol.
Oh, you're right. Yes, it was Capitol. They were a little different, weren't they, as far as how to treat you?
Yes, I think, I've always had this wild feeling about my career in a sense. I'm very grateful for everything that happened. It's just that, sometimes you wonder what might have happened if there's someone that I really have such respect for, and that's John Hammond, who, was really responsible for keeping Bruce Springsteen and Bob Dylan on Columbia, because a lot of the executives weren't all that thrilled since they weren't selling, in the beginning, selling the kind of records that, they wanted. But he really hung in there and fought for the artists. And there just weren't enough John Hammonds to go around. I think that whatever my little special niche in one direction would have been under someone that really understood all sorts of genres, from jazz to blues to country. And I had all that in the mix, but I think that a lot of producers and record companies, they just didn't get it at that time. And now, everybody can run out and say, Bob Dylan can make a Christmas album, and Rod Stewart can make a standard album. It's just commonplace. But when I was suggesting these things, it was like forbidden sort of thinking. And but you never know, because I grew up with my father playing country blues, more like the Delmore Brothers. My mom was singing with big band, and my aunt taught classical music. So I came from a very eclectic background, but people that were involved, the executives at the record companies, didn't quite get that. So I moved around, musically a lot.
Yeah. Well, sometimes you have to go ahead and do that. I mean, I've had a lot of musicians and a lot of recording artists in the studio here, and they pretty much tell the same story that you're saying. It's a tough industry. It is a very tough industry. It eats you up and spits you out if you're not moving around doing things. For example, like John Denver had all these fantastic hits, and then all of a sudden one day it dried up. And a major music organization or company label just dropped them. It could happen to anybody,
Exactly. I always have this picture of me sitting in a makeup chair and John Denver in a makeup chair, and the song "Betty Davis Eyes" was nominated for Song of the Year. And I said to oh my gosh, I really didn't think that we would win, because we weren't, Donna and I, we were just our own publishers, just the two of us. And, there was Warner Brothers and Capitol, and all these people had they have a lot of votes that they could put in for their Song of the Year. And I said he said, well, congratulations on, your nomination. And it was Grammy night. And I said, well, I'm just, really don't think that we have a chance to win. And John said, well, some of us have never been nominated.
Ooh.
Isn't that wild? And he made so many fantastic records and so many great songs.
Wow. Yeah, I enjoy John Denver's music as well. And unfortunately, I'm a pilot, so we found out why he crashed. And unfortunately, a lot of series of unfortunate situations occurred in his situation, but we did love his music. But
for sure.
But you in 1982, guess what? Kim Carnes, Betty Davis Eyes was
Back we go.
Song of the Year. Okay, and you wrote that in 1974. So
Yes, Donna Weiss and I wrote this song, and the thing is, we sent it around to a lot of folks, but no one heard the song, and so we just forgot about it. And Donna had taken some songs to Kim, and Betty Davis Eyes was on that particular cassette that she took to Kim Carnes, and Kim liked it, and they recorded it, and that was that.
Yeah, actually, that was that. I remember when it won. That's how old I am. I remember that. I remember that Grammy Awards, and I remember Kim Carnes going up there, and basically, yeah. And again, that was I was a radio jock back then. I was a radio disc jockey, so
great!
So I was playing Betty Davis Eyes in 1982.
Well, thank you so much. Thank you so much. A lot of people, their own record company didn't hear it for a while.
No.
And they finally got going. I knew a lot of the disc jockeys because I had called and program directors that I had worked with throughout the years, and I ended up calling a few people and saying, "Hey guys, what's going on?" And they said, "Well, we don't know. We don't really hear the record and da-da-da-da-da." But after a few weeks, I think they got into it, and after that, it broke. But it was number one all over the world.
Oh, yes.
Pretty exciting.
Yes, it was number one. It was up there for many, many weeks as well. And I'm sure Kim I hope Kim sent you something, like flowers or chocolates or something, because that was one of her biggest hits.
For sure. Well, she did a great, great job. She did a wonderful she just nailed it so perfectly. So we're so proud of her and thankful for her recording of it.
Yeah, I'm thankful. So those of you that are just joining, we are talking with singer and songwriter and radio broadcaster, Grammy Award winner, and she toured with the Beatles. We have got Jackie Deshannon here. But also, here's something you probably did not know. Jackie is also a movie star. Okay.
Oh, no.
Yes. I'm bringing up. This is kind of like This Is Your Life. Remember the old show, This Is Your Life? Okay. So I'm looking at several movies in which you had leads. One, of course, being Surf Party with Bobby Vinton. Bobby Vinton was in that. Patricia Murrell was on there, and you and Ken Miller were in there. And I'm looking at the picture, and I'm looking at the plot and everything. And what was that like, being on screen with Bobby Vinton?
Well, at that time, the Surf Party movies or those beachy movies were very in vogue. And I was delighted to do something like that because I thought, maybe this will help me in getting a dramatic part.
Well, in Intimacy, you kind of played a woman of the street, I think.
Yes, that was my other little bit. I had a few things, but, maybe it wasn't meant to be, but I really enjoyed every bit of it.
Well, you were also in Come On, Let's Live a Little, also with Bobby V as well.
Well,
David
that was
Butler.
fun. I'm a big fan of Bobby V's, and that that was really exciting. It was fun just to hang out with him, if nothing else.
Well, listen, you've done 3 more movies than I have. Okay.
All right.
I mean, I don't count the independent movies I've done, okay?
Well, we have to count those.
No, they don't count those. No, they don't count. I mean, yours were first run. You were in the movie screen. You were on the television all over the country, so that was pretty good. Now, in addition to the movies that we just talked about, and by the way, I enjoyed Surf Party. I thought it was really cool. Cool movie. 1963 was the year of that. Now, okay, TV appearances. Let's go through that really quick, okay? Now, some of the older people will know what I'm talking about. The younger people, kind of like Tyler over there, might not know as much, okay? So,
Sure.
Tyler, I want you to pay attention, okay? This is the history of broadcasting here, television broadcasting and shows. So here we go. And then, Tyler, you can comment on it. Number 1, Hollywood A Go-Go. That was in 65. Hullabaloo. I used to watch that. 65. You were a guest on My Three Sons, which is an amazing show. I loved that show when I was growing up.
It was a very big show, very popular.
Oh, absolutely. One of the, I had Chip on the show, the one who plays Chip on my radio show, and we talked about that as well. Now, Playboy After Dark. That was a pretty cool show. Okay,
that was great. I just loved that because I had an opportunity to do one of the songs from my new album at that time, which was Laurel Canyon. And along with me on that show was an unknown singer who was great. And you will never guess who that was. It was a gentleman called Barry White.
Wow. I did not know that. Wow.
Yes,
I did not know that.
In fact, he sang with me and a couple of other people on my whole album of Laurel Canyon. So when you hear the weight and when you hear some of the great, you hear that great voice, I don't know if you know who it is.
Oh, absolutely.
But it's unbelievable.
Are you kidding? When you were with a gal, you put on that music, you know what I mean? It gets you in the mood. So, I mean, with that deep voice. Yeah, of course you had it.
Yes, of course. But, he went with me to do a concert in Texas. And we had back then we had, problems. And I said, well, if, It was a bit of a sticky wicket, but we did it. We went out there and the audience they just loved it. So it was great.
Well, good for you. Playboy After Dark was actually a pretty interesting. It was different. It broke the mold when it came to doing a show like that, and of course, a lot of people were on that. Was great. But I'm looking the Wild Wild West. I watched that show.
That was also a very big show.
Yes, it was. It was actually bigger than My Three Sons. I mean, that was a great show, and you were actually on that as well. You played, I forget, but you were in the Night of the Janus. That was the series that you played. And of course, for those of you that love country music, yes, Johnny Cash had a show in 1970, or actually several years, and you were on in 1970 on the Johnny Cash show. The Flip Wilson Show. Here come the judge. Here come the judge. Okay, do you remember that show?
I certainly do.
Yes, and then
I certainly do.
And one of my dad's favorite shows. He's a Western guy. He loved The Virginian. Okay.
Oh, that was so fun.
What was it like being on that show? That was the first hour and a half show. Normally there's an hour or half hour.
I didn't realize that.
Yes, Virginia was the first. They were the first ones to put together a TV series with 1 hour and a half, 90-minute shows, believe it or not.
Wow.
So that's
new info.
There you go. We'll see every day we learn something.
We do.
The Catcher 72, Midnight Special. I used to love the Midnight Special shows.
Oh, that was one of my favorites too, the Midnight Special. So many great artists were on that show.
Including you.
Well, thank you.
Okay. And there's a whole bunch of others too as well. I can go on and on. But I want to backtrack because in Surf Party, you contributed 2 songs.
I did? Oh, good. Thanks for reminding me. I need to call up ASCAP and see what's going on.
Yeah, I don't know if you're getting any more residuals. You should talk to them and find out whether you're getting those residuals now. So, okay.
I definitely will.
Well, that sounds good. Anyway, I want to take a break, and we'll be back with Live on Tape right after this. Each year, 5,000 people, including children, choke to death. LifeVac can stop these senseless tragedies. And it's so easy to use as well. Simply place the mask over the face and push and pull. You'll never regret having a LifeVac in your home or office. Please visit their website at www.lifevac.net today to protect you and your loved ones. Or you can call them at 877 LIFEVAC. That's 877-LIFEVAC.
The YMCA is just a starting line, for the true self blooms only when we find our purpose, what makes us tick below the surface. My why is diversity and unity, a safe space in my community, living with sincerity, giving every day my everything. With my why, I stand strong, seen and supported all along. It's a million faces in a mirror and everyone belongs. Find your why. Learn more at ymca.org for a better us.
And welcome back, folks, to Live on Tape with Pete Trabucco on WWDB AM 860 Talk Radio, Philadelphia, a Beasley Media Group station. Hey, folks, and this is serious, okay? World Star Public Relations, really a fantastic organization where excellence meets exposure. So, are you ready to elevate your brand to new heights? Well, their team of dynamic PR experts can do that for you and make your story shine bright on the global stage. And that means whether you're a startup, an established business, or a rising star, they specialize in crafting narratives that captivate the campaigns and resonate of what you need. World Star PR, your passport to the world of unparalleled visibility and success. So join the ranks of those who already made headlines. Choose World Star Public Relations and let your story take center stage. For more information, 631-506-6600, 631-506-6600. And we've got singer and songwriter, radio broadcaster, Grammy Award-winning singer, and, of course, movie star, Jackie Deshannon here with us. Now, I mentioned earlier about all the movies and all this stuff. Okay, here's the quiz now that Tyler gets to do, my producer. Okay, we mentioned all of these. Okay, you were listening. I hope he was listening anyway. Do you remember any of those shows or any of the ones that we're talking about? I know you're young, but I mean, you had to watch the My Three Sons or the Wild Wild West or the Virginian or something along those lines. Any of those shows that ring a bell to you?
The ones that you mentioned were, if I'm not mistaken, Playboy After Dark or something?
Yes, that was a biggie.
I don't know. That name stuck out for some reason. No idea why.
Well, that was Hugh Hefner. That was Playboy After Dark, and he interviewed a lot of celebrities, and of course it was a good show, but it was so different than the talk shows that you see here today. Flip Wilson. Your homework assignment is you got to watch the Flip Wilson show. That was one of the funniest shows on television back in the 70s. What do you think? Jackie? One of the funniest shows, or what?
Oh, absolutely. I think you couldn't help but just be in a fit of laughter constantly. He was amazing, just amazing.
And he was talented. And there was a thing called the Midnight Special, which basically was kind of like a rock concert, basically.
It was, definitely.
And it was on television, and you had the best artists, the biggest artists would show up for that. You know, people like Olivia Newton-John did it later on and so on. And you were on that show, and you actually performed songs on that show, too. What was that like that was in front of a live audience, so what was that like?
It was really great because the producer, Bert Sugarman, set up a really nice situation for the artists. And it was on with the Pointer Sisters. I can't really recall everybody.
Yeah.
But they treated the artists very well. And it was just such a fun show. You just got up there and performed, and everybody loved it. It was really a loose atmosphere.
Tell me something. You know, you've done all this stuff, especially the movies and of course, the concerts and everything. Did you ever get nervous when you were doing the performing?
I used to get nervous if there were 12 people in the room.
Oh, God.
But I know. If there was a small audience, I'd get very nervous. The more people, the less. 80,000 people, that's great. Put me out there. I'm ready to go. But the smaller audience, if I had to do something intimate, then I would be nervous. Yeah.
I agree with you on that. I do some off-Broadway stuff, and I've done some, some stuff. And I tell you, I've done big crowds, 3,000 at a time, and I don't mind it because the lights are in the way. I can't see I can't see the audience. I have no clue who's out there. But when you're in a small environment, a club or something,
it's the worst.
And people are looking at you,
I know.
and they're looking right through you. It's like
exactly. That is, I think, for me, it was the most difficult.
Yeah.
And the more people, the better.
Yeah, the more people, the better, and you can't see them, and it's like, okay, there's no, I'm performing for nobody because I don't see anybody out there.
Exactly.
One time I was doing a show, just real quick, I was doing a show called, you probably heard of it, Anne Frank. Okay.
Yeah. Oh, yes.
Okay, and I was playing Dr. Dushna. Okay. And basically, what happened was I had a speech about how horrible things were because I was one of the last people to go into the house. Okay. And what happened is I'm explaining what's going on, and all of a sudden I hear coughing and choking in the audience. I can't see them. It's about 1,000 people in there. So all of a sudden I hear coughing and choking. Right. And then all of a sudden I see an ambulance pull up in the back, okay? And all of a sudden I'm looking, and I'm in the middle of my speech here now. I'm in the middle of telling how horrible things are. And the next thing you know, they're wheeling this guy out, okay? He's coughing, wheezing, choking, and they wheeled him out, right? And he left the theater, and I'm in the middle. So I finish my my little monologue, okay? We go into, basically the dressing room for Act 2, and somebody comes up and says, "Wow, Pete, you really did good. Yeah, you killed him." And I was like, "No, I didn't." The guy had a heart attack. He survived. He was good. Okay, but the bottom line is, if you really want to see me perform, folks, and you want to die, okay, you just come watch me. Okay.
Oh God, must have been. I can't imagine how you got through that.
Oh, it was so tough because I heard it, and I have a medical background. It took so much effort for me, and I stayed in character. It took so much effort of me to do that. And then when I saw that they were actually helping him and taking him out, I was able to relax a little bit. But it was very, very, very difficult to do.
I really don't know. I can't imagine having to, be on stage and do my bit during that situation.
Oh yeah, no, it was tough, but
well, congrats to you. They should be honored that you finished the deal.
Well, I visited him in the hospital afterwards too, because that's the thing I wanted to do.
Well, that was awfully nice.
Yeah, I did, and I said from now on, don't come to any of my shows. No, just kidding.
Please stay away from all performances by me.
Yes, please. I don't. I want to kill, but not in that way. Okay.
Oh, that's a very funny line. Please don't come to my performance. Oh, excellent.
Sounds good. Okay, I got one more little tidbit, and I think that Tyler's going to wake up for this one. Okay. This is a little personal, but you dated Elvis Presley. Okay. Can you talk about that?
Yeah, it was kind of a friendship date in the sense that Elvis loved gospel music. He always had the Jordanaires
That's
up in
right.
the house and on the records. And he asked me, he would say, come up and do gospel with me. So I used to go up and sing gospel with him.
Okay.
And we just had, we had a great dating friendship, I would say. But I have to say this, he was the most humble, the most wonderful person you could ever meet. You'd want to hang out with him. You'd want to go to a movie with him. He was just, the guy next door, so to speak. He was just, I recall one of these interviews he told me about that the Elvis, how do you feel the fans tearing up your car and doing your shirt and all this? He said, well, they bought them for me. I thought, well, you know what? It's too bad a lot of people don't feel like that today, but he wore his crown exceptionally well.
Yes, he did.
He was an amazing, amazing person. And I feel that when he lost his mom, he was so close to her. And she worried so much about him being in Germany and being away that it just was something that was too big in his heart to handle. And, the twin brother, he had his twin brother. And
that's right.
Went through that. That's a hard thing. And I don't know, I've heard conversations about, if you had a twin and they were, passed away early, that it really took a toll on the other twin.
Yeah. What about Ricky Nelson? Okay, I know you were connected to Ricky too as well.
Well, Rick. Oh, you couldn't. Well, I'm telling you, you couldn't find nicer people. Elvis, Ricky Nelson was a class act as well. Humble, nice, great talent. I think that he sold a lot of records, Ricky Nelson. If I don't mind saying so. I mean, people loved him. And of course, who wasn't glued to that show? I know I was. That's for sure.
No, it's true. He's done very well, and you've had a lot of collaborations. We're going to take a break now, but we'll be back for the final segment of Live on Tape right after this. Each year, 5,000 people, including children, choke to death. LifeVac can stop these senseless tragedies, and it's so easy to use as well. Simply place the mask over the face and push and pull. You'll never regret having a LifeVac in your home or office. Please visit their website at www.lifevac.net today to protect you and your loved ones. Or you can call them at 877-LIFEVAC. That's 877-LifeVac. And we're back for the final segment of Live on Tape with Pete Trabucco on WWDB AM 860 Talk Radio. And I am here with an amazing guest, singer-songwriter, radio broadcaster, Grammy Award winner, movie star. I know you like that part there. And,
I love that.
Okay, and someone who toured with the Beatles way back when. We have got Jackie Deshannon with us in the studios. We've talked about everything pretty much. I covered most of the things I wanted to cover. But you stayed around music, and in fact, not only did you stay around music, but we're going to have a guest in March here on this radio station, a gentleman by the name of Randy Edelman, okay? He's going to be on the show. And just for you that don't know what Randy has done, okay, he's a musician, producer, composer. You might have seen his work on the movies, Twins, Ghostbusters, was it Ghostbusters 2, Kindergarten Cop, Drop Dead Fred, Beethoven, The Distinguished Gentleman, Gettysburg, Angels in the Outfield, The Mask, Pontiac Moon, The Indian in the Cupboard, Dragonheart. I just saw that. In fact, I just had one of the leads on from there. And, of course, Daylight and XXX. Man, I tell you, you just couldn't get enough music. I mean, you had to be with Randy, too, now, right?
Oh, my goodness. I guess so. I have no idea, but he is a very special talent. There's, it's not because of my relationship with him as my husband, but there's not a lot of people that can write hit songs and score movies. If I don't, it's two different things. But he does them both equally well, and I'm really proud of him.
Yeah, and also he worked with performers like the Carpenters, Barry Manilow, Dionne Warwick. I'm going to have him on in March, okay? And he's supposed to be coming into the studio.
Oh, fantastic.
Can we get you in the studio at the same time?
I don't think so.
Oh, darn.
But I'm not. Look, we say never say never. You never know.
Because it would be great to have you guys both together in the studio.
Oh,
now,
I don't know if your studio would probably explode.
I'm telling you, man, the talent in this room, I'm going to have to, just go to the next room. Is this too much? It's too bright.
I think so. I think we should make an addition. We need to have some carpenters in there, for sure.
I think so. I think you got to wear sunglasses when we walk into that room.
Exactly.
By the way, I'm wearing sunglasses now because my other glasses I left in the car. So now I'm trying to do this interview blind, basically. Okay. At this point,
it's been great. I have to tell you, I have never had so much fun in an interview, and you're just the best. You make it so easy for me, and people go through life, and you have interviews and whatnot, and some of them are just they just don't have it together, but you are sensational, and I might say that it's just been a thrill to be on your program. Really enjoying it.
Well, I'm only as good as the guests that I do have, but I do have one more question, actually, two. Number one, you are doing a radio thing, okay, in I guess in California, a Beatles thing. Can you talk about that at all?
Yes, I do the news, the Beatles news, on the Chris Carter Show, Breakfast with the Beatles. And that's on every week. And I'm on KLOS out here on Sundays. And then on Tuesdays, we broadcast the Breakfast with the Beatles as well. And Chris Carter's been doing it for many years, and I've been fortunate enough to hang out with him and do Breakfast with the Beatles, the news. We do like a little 5-minute thing, saying what's happening with the great group.
Okay. So now you've been doing this for a while with him, right? Basically, have you been doing it?
Yes. Yeah, I couldn't believe it. I think 10 years or something. I'm not
my
sure.
goodness.
I know.
And
you shouldn't have asked that question. I'm dating. I'm going backwards now.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Now, if I recall, basically, you've been doing this for a while with him, but that station, if I recall, that's a 50,000 watt flamethrower. It's a big radio
it's
station.
Big. It's pretty interesting that we hear of course, listen every week or do it every week, and we hear people calling in from just places that you would think that the signal would not reach, but it does. And of course, Sirius is Sirius, so to speak.
Yeah.
And it reaches a lot of folks.
Well,
and there's a lot of Beatles fans out there.
Oh, absolutely! Whenever I go karaoke, I'm singing Beatles songs.
You bet.
I do that all the time. By the way, that's different than our radio station. Our radio station, if you go next door, you can't hear the signal. I'm just kidding.
Love you. You are amazing. You are amazing. I love it. Well, look, that's all we need.
Well, there's one last question, and this is an important one. You are an amazing singer. You've had an incredible career. You continue that with broadcasting on radio and doing all the things. Grammy Award winner, songwriter, everything. Now, we've got a lot of people here in Philadelphia, and they've got dreams. They've got hopes. They got desires. They want to be good. Now, you've got all that experience. So I'm going to leave it up to you to leave it off and tell these people that really want to make it what they need to do. Tell them what to do. Tell them what
Go to law school. I think it's important. I sort of wish that, of course the business has changed so much, but it's very complicated. And I think you have your talent, but as well as your talent, I think you need to have a lot of good information so you can avoid a lot of the pitfalls and you feel like it's on your shoulders. Well, it isn't on your shoulders. Your talent is not the problem. The problem is that you conform to situations that will hinder you getting to where you need to go. That's why I encourage you to have all the information that you can about how the business works today, what you could expect from royalties, how you can get your music out there. You need to do a lot of homework. I didn't do mine. I didn't do it. I didn't realize that that's just as important as your dream. It's just as your dream will get there by knowing how to put it on the best pedestal, give it the best chance. You want to give your dreams the best chance. I assume that people that want to be in the business, that the dream is there, and I think everybody has a certain kind of talent, but the problem is that we are uninformed, and the expectation may be something that you can't reach because you don't know how to get there. And that's why you have to do a lot of homework. I'm just laughing because I'm saying go to law school, know your stuff.
Well, it's
because
funny.
you want to get paid for what you do.
Well, it's funny. Tyler's over here, and when you said that, he went shucks. You were like, oh, I should have done that instead. So,
yeah, silly me. I just went to school for radio broadcasting.
You like turf and surf. You make it a combo.
Yeah. Repeat what you just said.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I just went to school for radio and broadcasting and television.
Oh my goodness!
Hilarious.
Well, it's just this is such an eclectic business now.
Yes, it is.
And so even you just really need to set your dream out there and then put your find out how like building a house, the many steps you need to take to ensure that you get paid when you do get out there and you do have exposure, and that you know what to expect and because a lot of people blame it on their talent. You go out, you put a record out, or you put something out. Oh, I'm not talented. Oh, it's terrible. No, that's not the answer. Maybe they didn't do their job that they should have done for you, and it won't have anything to do with your talent. And it's a big thing.
Well, Jackie, thank you so much. We do appreciate it. On behalf of myself and Tyler, Jackie, thank you so much. We're going to have you on again. Everybody.
Well, thank you so much. I loved it.
Have a great weekend, everybody, and we'll talk to you again next week.
Thank you so much.
Okay.